Hey everyone, in this video I want to talk about cavitation. It's a phenomenon responsible for pitting in boat propellers and is often avoided. However, it could have its uses. Cavitation occurs in a fluid when pressure decreases and the fluid transitions from liquid to gas. It creates bubbles by decreasing pressure. Normally, we think of turning liquid into gas by boiling. You add heat, which increases the temperature, and liquid boils. Every time I cook pasta, I boil water on the stove. That's boiling. Let's look at this on a phase diagram. So boiling would be this point from A2, following this line, to A. The temperature is increased and we've switched from liquid to vapor. Cavitation is the process going from A1 to A, where temperature stayed the same, but the pressure has decreased, and we've gone from liquid to vapor. So the question is, how do you decrease the pressure in a system? To understand this, let's look at the Bernoulli equation. We can see how pressure decreases in a moving fluid if we look at the Bernoulli equation in a nozzle. The Bernoulli equation can be thought of as a form of energy balance per unit volume. Since energy is conserved, we can know that energy per unit volume is the same at 2 points along a system. The system we're looking at, we're going to compare point 1 and point 2, which we've labeled with V1, P1, V2, and P2. I'll highlight those. We can use this system to compare the pressure at two different points. Since the cross-sectional area is less at point 2, we can know that the speed has gone up, which means the pressure has to go up, since energy has to be conserved. But why does the speed increase? To understand that, we need to take a brief look at the conservation of mass. Because mass is neither created nor destroyed, the mass of fluid entering the system, the nozzle, has to equal the mass of the fluid leaving the nozzle. Mass in has to equal out. That means the mass flow rate in has to equal the mass flow rate out. If we break this down, we know that mass flow rate is the same as volumetric flow rate times density. We'll denote density with a rho. This is in, this is out. And volumetric flow rate is going to be velocity times cross-sectional area of our nozzle. So you can see how we're getting to velocity. So we have density, V in, cross-sectional area of in, out, cross-sectional area out. And since we're working with water, water is considered an incompressible fluid. That means the density does not change. So we can cross out density. If we redraw our nozzle briefly, we can look at point 2, point 1. We can see the cross-sectional area at 2 is going to be much smaller than the cross-sectional area at 1. And since V1A1 has to equal V2A2, A2 is larger than A1, for these sides to be equal, V2, sorry, this is backwards, A2 is smaller than A1, as we can see. That means V2 has to be larger than V1. And so if we control this properly and our area is small enough, we could decrease the pressure enough to create cavitation. This is the same principle that creates the fast jet of water when you put your thumb over the end of a hose, or if your sink has that switch to create the jets of water. So we look at the end of our sink, we have those small areas around the edge here, and then the large normal area. So this is a smaller cross-sectional area. It's going to create a larger velocity jet. This is a larger cross-sectional area. It's going to create a smaller velocity jet. We can see that if I turn on the sink, out of the main section, and we flip the switch, and they come out much faster. That's the conservation of mass in action. So to create cavitation that we can observe in film, I'm going to use a clear nozzle. The center of the nozzle will have a small cross-sectional area so the velocity can increase. The temperature will remain constant, so the only change will be the pressure. As the fluid reaches the center of the nozzle, the velocity will increase enough so that the pressure decreases below the phase shift line, as we looked at in our phase diagram. So let's see this in action. That was pretty quick and a little hard to see, but fortunately I have some still shots from a high-speed camera that the lab at Kansas State owns. I had access to this as I was doing my master's degree. If we look at these shots, we can see where the bubbles are forming, and it's right at the center of the nozzle where the velocity is the highest, in this region. Just as our analysis showed. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching. We talked about the basics of cavitation and how that might be initiated. If you like this video, please drop a like, maybe comment below if you have any questions, and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.